Chosen one, divine revelation has shattered the veil between worlds. The practitioner they hired just delivered news that left them frozen with disbelief. You cannot be sacrificed. Their elaborate schemes, midnight rituals, and dark intentions have all failed. Now they stand exposed, mouths agape, faces twisted with that unmistakable, embarrassed expression, the look of someone who just discovered they've been attacking. A fortress protected by heavenly decree, while the universe itself stands guard over your destiny. The practitioner they hired, standing before them, trembling with the weight of cosmic truth. These words escaped from lips that could barely form. Them, this one cannot be touched. The universe itself has drawn a line so profound, so absolute, that even the most skilled manipulator of energy cannot cross it. You stand beyond their reach, beyond their power, beyond their comprehension, beyond any tool in their spiritual arsenal. Their faces froze in that moment, jaws slack, eyes wide, blood draining from cheeks, the realization washing over them like Arctic water. All their planning, all their plotting, all their midnight rituals, all their carefully crafted intentions, all their meticulously gathered ingredients wasted on someone divinely marked and protected. Think of spending months orchestrating your downfall, investing emotional energy, spiritual currency, material resources, only to discover you were targeting a fortress built by the heavens themselves, reinforced by celestial decree, guarded by forces that operate beyond the dimensional limitations they comprehend. The room fell silent as they processed this cosmic rejection. One by one, the truth settled into their bones, their marrow, their very cellular structure. They had been fighting an impossible battle from the very beginning. Their weapons, regardless of potency against ordinary souls, never stood a chance against your spiritual armor. Forged in fires they cannot name, tempered by challenges they cannot imagine, your protection remains absolute against their limited understanding of metaphysical warfare. These gatherings have been happening for months. Secret meetings in dimly lit rooms with candles casting long shadows against ancient walls. Your name whispered between sips of wine and promises of revenge. Plans drafted and redrawn until the bee. Early hours when even the moon retreated from their intentions. Strategies evolved and refined through consultation with dark texts and questionable sources. Multiple attempts launched against your spirit, your mind, your body, your connections, your resources, your very essence, and every single one failed spectacularly, dissolving into nothingness before even reaching your energy field. The practitioner's revelation dropped like a bomb among them, detonating their confidence, their certainty, their very foundation. Your operation was doomed from its conception. No amount of power, no ancestral connection, no spirit ally, no ancient ritual could have penetrated this shield. The words echoed through their collective consciousness, bouncing off the walls of their shared delusion. Not just failed, but impossible. Never even a shadow of a chance of success. The bitter taste of futility fills their mouths, coats their tongues, lodges in their throats as they realize how much energy they've poured into an empty well, how much life force wasted on an exercise in absolute futility. Money changed hands, substantial sums that depleted savings accounts and maxed out credit lines. Services purchased at premium rates that promised your absolute downfall, guaranteed results, irreversible damage. Special ingredients acquired from distant places, rare herbs from remote mountains, waters from sacred springs, soils from ancient burial grounds, crystals from deep caves, ancient words memorized and chanted in languages they barely comprehend, tongues twisted around syllables, meant to shatter your foundation, Candles burned at precise angles, crafted from specific waxes, infused with oils corresponding to malevolent planets. Yet when the smoke cleared, when the ashes cooled, when the final word faded from the air, you remained untouched, completely unaffected, while strange energies began to circle back toward them, gathering momentum, building force, seeking return to sender. Too late came the practitioner's warning, delivered with genuine alarm. You've wandered into forbidden territory. This soul carries protections beyond my experience. Some boundaries exist in the spiritual realm, not for arbitrary reasons, but for protection, not yours, but theirs. Some souls carry signatures that repel dark intentions automatically, reflecting them back to their source with frightening precision, multiplied intensity, and perfect targeting. Your essence contains this divine security system, activated without your conscious effort, operating continuously without your awareness, protecting you even while you sleep. Watch now as everything they spoke against you manifests in their own lives with uncanny precision. The financial ruin they wished upon you visits their accounts instead, decimating resources they thought secure. The illness they attempted to send finds their bodies instead, creating symptoms that confound medical professionals. The confusion they tried to plant in your mind now clouds their thinking, causing them to make devastating errors in judgment. The relationship discord they attempted to sow now erupts in their own connections, destroying partnerships they valued. The universe operates with perfect mathematics, returning exact measurements of what they dispersed, calibrated to their specific vulnerabilities, addressing their precise weaknesses. Their scrambling has begun in earnest. Emergency texts lighting up phones at 3 a.m., vibrating with panic, hushed conversations in parking lots under flickering streetlights, voices tense with fear, frantic meetings called with no notice, gathering the conspirators from their daily lives without explanation. What went wrong? They demand of each other, eyes wild with accusation. Who talked? Who betrayed our confidence? How could this happen when we followed every instruction? The panic spreads among them like wildfire in drought conditions, consuming their composure, almost comical to witness from your position of strength and stability. Fingers point in every direction, creating a circular firing squad of blame. Some blame the practitioner for incompetence or deliberate sabotage. Others suspect betrayal within their ranks, searching for the weak link who might have warned you. A few begin to question if higher powers intervened directly, cosmic authorities disrupting their plans. Their carefully constructed plans unravel thread by thread, hour by hour, day by day, revealing the fragile foundation upon which they built. Their attacks, exposing the fundamental misunderstanding of spiritual law that doomed their efforts from conception. Documents deleted in haste, leaving digital footprints. Messages erased after being read by unintended eyes. Evidence burned in backyard fires that draw neighbors' attention. Yet the energy signature of their intentions remains permanently etched in the Akashic records, that cosmic database that records all thoughts, intentions, and actions. Nothing truly disappears from the cosmic ledger that balances all accounts. Their attempts at covering tracks only dig them deeper into karmic debt, adding the weight of deception to their already substantial spiritual deficit. Chosen one, the synchronicities that brought you here weren't accidents. Neither is your discovery of this message. When souls of this caliber gather, the forces behind timeline manipulation take notice. They fear our collective power. The question isn't whether you belong among us. The question is, how much longer will you let the matrix delay the awakening that divine grace has already guaranteed? The obsidian inner order is open. It has paywalls, yes, Those who stand with us give us ammunition to fight the matrix manipulation systems. Paid members get free weekly group call, divine guidance and quantum resistance training. But kicking a soul when they're down, that's something we cannot ignore. That's why you can access our Astral Atom newsletter for free. No paywall, no catch. This is bi-directional. You can reply to any message we send you. We'll read it, we'll hear you, and we'll get an answer to you. If you can support, we need you. If you can't, take what's free. Click the link in the description below now. Your authentic timeline begins here. What these pitiful plotters failed to calculate in their amateur assessment: you do not stand alone on the spiritual battlefield. Behind you stretches a lineage of ancestors whose combined protection forms an impenetrable shield around your energy field, a barrier constructed from the wisdom, power, and vigilance of those who walked before you. Generations of spiritual power activated specifically to guard your path during this lifetime, knowing the magnitude of your purpose, understanding the forces that would attempt to derail your mission. The practitioner saw this protection and literally retreated in terror, backing away physically from the ritual space when the true nature of your guardianship revealed itself. When attempting to access your spiritual coordinates, they encountered guardians so formidable, so ancient, so absolutely authoritative that continuing would risk their own destruction. Their simple magic, parlor tricks compared to your ancestral might, scatters like dry leaves in hurricane-force winds when confronted with the force that guards you. The blood that runs through your veins carries codes they cannot decipher. With their limited understanding, frequencies they cannot interrupt with their crude tools, power they cannot overcome with their borrowed knowledge. Your spiritual DNA contains protections activated before your birth, empowered through your challenges, strengthened with each breath you take, connecting you to sources of power these amateurs cannot even name. Consider the resources wasted in this failed campaign against you. Hours of preparation researching techniques, gathering materials, learning invocations. Thousands in currency spent on rare components, practitioner fees, specialized tools, sacred space rental. Rare materials acquired at great expense from exotic locations, items they can never recover or reuse. Favors called in and debts created within their spiritual community. Reputation capital squandered on a doomed venture. Energetic reserves depleted through extended ritual work, leaving them vulnerable to other forces. All poured into a void that simply absorbed their efforts without effect, like shouting into an endless canyon that returns not even an echo. The practitioner accepted their payment while knowing, fully knowing from the first consultation, the futility of their request. Some practitioners operate with integrity, refusing work that violates cosmic law or targets protected individuals. Others take advantage of the desperate and vengeful, happily accepting payment for impossible tasks, allowing clients to learn expensive lessons about spiritual boundaries. They encountered the latter and paid handsomely for their lesson, purchasing not your downfall, but their own humbling education in cosmic hierarchy. While they count their losses and face financial strain from these useless expenditures, you continue thriving, completely undisturbed by their attempts. Your blessings multiply visibly, arriving with suspicious timing that further confirms their failure. Your path clears of obstacles they didn't even place. Your energy remains clean and unburdened, never even registering the attacks they believed were landing with devastating effect. The contrast between their diminishment and your expansion becomes increasingly apparent to everyone in your shared circle, creating another layer of humiliation they hadn't anticipated. The universe operates with perfect precision, with mathematics so exact that quantum physicists glimpse it but cannot fully calculate its perfection. Watch as each negative intention returns to its sender with exact timing and intensity, calibrated for maximum impact and unmistakable connection to the original transgression. The week they planned financial devastation for you, their own unexpected bills arrive, accounts get frozen, opportunities vanish, resources diminish. The day they attempted to cloud your mind with confusion, their own thinking becomes foggy, decision-making capabilities collapse, memory fails at crucial moments, mental clarity disappears. This represents no coincidence or random bad luck, only perfect universal balance asserting itself through impeccable spiritual accounting. The ledger must balance to the penny, the scales must even to the microgram, the energy must return to its source with perfect attribution. These are laws more reliable than gravity, more consistent than the rising sun, more inescapable than time itself, operating across dimensions beyond human comprehension, yet with effects clearly visible to those experiencing the consequences. The practitioner merely served as messenger of this cosmic justice, simply informing them of what spiritual law had already decreed, what universal forces had already set in motion. "I am not punishing you," the practitioner explained with genuine pity for their situation. "I am merely revealing the consequences your actions have already set in motion through your own choices." Their faces paled as understanding dawned, as the implications crystallized in their consciousness. This cannot be stopped by any means, cannot be diverted through clever manipulation, cannot be avoided through spiritual bankruptcy. The debt comes due with perfect precision. Their unity shatters like crystal striking concrete. Former confidants now view each other with undisguised suspicion and growing hostility. "Who brought this curse upon us?" they demand in accusatory tones. "Who suggested targeting this particular soul without proper investigation? Who vouched for this practitioner's abilities?" The blame circulates among them with increasing velocity, creating divisions that will never fully heal, rifts too wide to bridge with apologies or explanations. Trust evaporates from their alliance faster than morning dew under desert sun. Each message now analyzed for hidden meanings and subtext. Each suggestion questioned for ulterior motives and hidden agendas. Each past action re-evaluated through the lens of current disaster. Paranoia spreads through their ranks with the efficiency of a viral contagion, destroying the cohesion that once made them feel powerful in their collective intention. Divided, fragmented, suspicious, they stand, even less chance against your united front of protection, your singular purpose, your undivided focus. The practitioner's revelation becomes the wedge that splits their foundation into irreconcilable sections. Some want to abandon the mission entirely, cutting losses before further damage manifests. Others insist on doubling down with more extreme measures, convinced that greater power will overcome the barrier. Still others seek to propitiate whatever forces they've offended, attempting damage control through spiritual bribes. This fundamental disagreement creates factions, turning former friends into adversaries, dissolving alliances formed over years, all while you remain completely untouched by their chaos, unaware of their disintegration, focused on your ascension rather than their decline. Everything has been thrown at you from their spiritual arsenal, bindings designed to restrict your movement through life, hexes calculated to bring misfortune to specific areas, curses intended to create general suffering and limitation, energy, drains meant to deplete your life force and enthusiasm, psychic attacks targeting your mental stability and emotional balance, reputation damage attempting to turn others against you, financial obstacles placed to create material insecurity, relationship interference designed to isolate you from support. health disturbances aimed at your physical well-being. Everything they could conceive within their limited understanding. Yet you remain standing in your power, not just surviving. These attempts but thriving against all their projections, exceeding even your own expectations, breaking through limitations they tried to reinforce. Your resilience defies their understanding, challenges their foundational beliefs about spiritual vulnerability. The practitioner admitted through trembling lips that they had never witnessed such impenetrable protection around any soul in decades of metaphysical work. This one walks with guardians I cannot name, forces I dare not challenge, authorities I must respect, they confessed, a tremor in their voice betraying genuine spiritual awe at what they glimpsed when attempting to locate your vulnerabilities. The glimpse into your true protection left them humbled, reassessing their own position in the cosmic hierarchy, questioning the limits of their craft in ways they never anticipated. Your strength forces them to question everything they believed about spiritual power and authority, about established hierarchies of souls they thought they understood, about who truly holds authority in unseen realms beyond physical perception, about the nature of divine protection and who receives it. Your continued elevation, despite their concentrated efforts, creates a cognitive dissonance they cannot resolve, except through complete reformation of their understanding about metaphysical reality, through painful recognition of their miscalculation, through humble acknowledgement of powers beyond their manipulation. While you ascend through dimensions of consciousness, experiencing synchronicities and blessings that confirm your alignment, they descend into strange new circumstances that defy rational explanation. Unexplainable events disrupt their daily lives with increasing frequency and intensity. Technology malfunctions specifically around them. Computers crash, phones disconnect, appliances fail, vehicles break down. Important documents disappear at crucial moments despite careful storage. Opportunities vanish without explanation just before consummation. Relationships strain under mysterious tensions that emerged suddenly without apparent cause. The practitioner warned too late about the blowback, about the reflective nature of the energies they attempted to manipulate against sacred protection. What you send returns threefold isn't just an old saying for needlepoint pillows or social media memes. It's a mechanical description of how energy behaves when directed with harmful intent toward a protected soul, a physics equation of spiritual causality that operates with mathematical precision. The magnitude of return corresponds directly to the force of the sending, creating perfect cosmic balance. Fear now dictates their decisions, constraining their choices, limiting their movements. Every unusual occurrence, every small misfortune triggers paranoia and terror. Is this related to what we attempted? Becomes the question that haunts their every waking moment. They constantly look over their shoulders, jumping at shadows, startling at unexpected sounds, wondering what else might return to them from their failed campaign against your spirit. Their world contracts with each passing day, possibilities diminishing, freedom restricted not by external forces, but by the prison of consequence they built through their own actions. Their embarrassment stands complete as you continue rising beyond their reach, advancing to levels of consciousness they cannot access, achieving successes they cannot diminish. The practitioner has abandoned them entirely, refusing further services, regardless of offered payment, warning colleagues through professional networks about taking them as clients. Stay away from that situation, whispers through spiritual communities. Dangerous karma attached to those people. Protected target involved. Their reputation within these circles lies in tatters, limiting their access to future metaphysical assistance when needed. Everyone within their circle sees their failure clearly, witnesses their diminishment in contrast to your expansion. The contrast between their boastful plans announced with such certainty and the reality of their crushing defeat cannot be hidden behind explanations or excuses. Some pretend they were never involved, denying participation despite evidence. Others create elaborate excuses involving cosmic interference or practitioner incompetence. A few admit the truth but find no sympathetic ears, no comfort for their humiliation, no allies in their distress. Now they must face you in shared social spaces with that unmistakable expression of someone who has been totally exposed and defeated at a soul level. Eyes that cannot meet yours for fear of what might be revealed. Shoulders slightly hunched in unconscious protection. Energy contracted to minimize presence. The face of someone who knows that you know exactly what they attempted through unseen means, and that you remain completely unaffected by their pathetic efforts, unmarked by their intentions, unbothered by their existence. Their very presence has become a reminder of their failure, while your presence amplifies their embarrassment through the stark contrast between your expansion and their contraction. Understand this fundamental truth about your journey. Your protection comes not from random chance, lucky circumstance, or arbitrary selection, but from divine recognition of your specific purpose in this timeline. Souls carrying specific missions of significance receive corresponding levels of spiritual security, forces assigned to ensure completion of their contracted work. The ease with which these attacks dissolved against your protection reveals your actual spiritual